Hello. In this video, I want to talk to you about keeping your Ubuntu virtual machine operating at peak performance. As you may know, Microsoft pushes updates to the Windows operating system on a periodic basis, and these updates correct issues with the software as well as patch security vulnerabilities that could make you susceptible to a cyber attack. Apple does the same thing with macOS. Rather than have you hunt around within Ubuntu for all the different ways to patch your machine, I've created a single script that allows you to perform all the required updates with one command. The script is called Tuneup, and Tuneup is not a standard Linux command. So if you went to the internet and searched for Linux Tuneup or Ubuntu Tuneup, you probably won't find a command called Tuneup. That's because it's a script that was written just for your machine to perform all the updates with a single command. So let's get into it and see how Tuneup works on your Ubuntu virtual machine. So let's start looking at Tuneup by going to our Ubuntu virtual machine. So here I am inside my VM, and we'll start with a terminal window. That's how most of our activities start in Linux. So if you notice here in my favorites, I've got my terminal icon, click on it once and bring up the terminal. The command to tune up your virtual machine is simply tuneup, like that. But before I get too deep into Tuneup, I want to just do a quick side lesson on some of the mechanisms that come with command line programs in Linux. Very often when you run a command line program in Linux for the first time, you have no idea how it works or what it does. So a good command line program in Linux would provide you some mechanism to get help. And very often that mechanism is a dash with an H at the end. So if you notice here, the command tuneup with a dash H, that's T-U-N-E-U-P, lowercase, then a space, then a dash, single dash, and then a lowercase h. When you do that, the program can provide you some help. And you see here, it says, this script will perform the updates of the system files and so forth. So you get a brief description of the program. You get a usage statement. Usage tells you how you actually use the program. And then up here you see a list of options. So the letters contained in square brackets provide you the options for this program. You don't actually type the square brackets themselves. The square brackets let you know that these are some of the options for you. And if you look further down, optional arguments, it tells you a dash H will provide help and a dash A will provide some additional tuning in addition to the base. So let's just start with Tuneup by itself and see what we get. So I'm going to clear my screen before I do that. So here's another little Linux lesson. There's a couple of different ways to clear your screen in Linux. One way is to type the word clear and hit the enter key. That clears your screen. Another way to clear your screen is to use a shortcut, a keyboard shortcut. So let me put some content on the screen by listing the files in my home directory by typing ls, and you see a bunch of stuff on the screen. If I want to clear that, hold the control key and press the letter L, and it clears the screen. So two ways to do that. All right, so let's tune up our machine. Tuneup by itself, T-U-N-E-U-P. First thing it will do is ask you for your password. So if I type my password that you used when you created your virtual machine, if it finds anything it needs, it'll grab that content and bring it down and install it. So here you notice it's actually updating one package on my machine. You get a little status bar that tells you what it's doing and so forth. When it's done, the program tells you that all the updates and upgrades are complete and a reboot is recommended to ensure that the changes take effect. This is a very important component to tuning up your virtual machine. After the updates are complete, it's a good idea to restart your virtual machine. I won't do it right now because I want to give you another demonstration, but after you tune it up, you should restart it. And a quick way to do that is to just type reboot, the command reboot, and hit enter, and your virtual machine will restart. You saw that during setup. Another option with the tuneup command is to do a more robust tuning of your machine. So let me clear the screen, Control L. And let me go back to the window to blow it up a bit, and I will type tuneup -A. And if you looked at the help menu, it says, in addition to tuning up the base machine, which is the operating system itself, it'll tune up any applications you have installed. It will tune up the Jupyter Lab infrastructure, and you'll learn more about Jupyter in a separate video. And it will also tune up any Jupyter notebooks that you have on your machine. So if I type tuneup-A, you'll see it looks very similar. It goes through and does all the things it did before. But finally, down on the bottom here, you can see it scans for some additional updates. And once it's found any updates for those, it'll bring them down, install them, and as before, once the updates are complete, a reboot is recommended to make sure that the changes take effect. So that's it. That's how you tune up your virtual machine. I hope that's helpful. I like to tune up my Ubuntu virtual machine at least once a week. We may do it more frequently in the class. If I provide some updates to the course content that I want you to have, I may ask you to tune up your machine so that you can get that delivered to you. But absent that, I would say at least once a week is a good rotation to tune up your virtual machine. So I hope that was helpful, and as always, don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. Talk to you soon.